Hey guys, welcome back to Magic TV. My name's Craig. It's 9 o'clock, which means it's time for a Talk Magic. And I'm super excited with the person that I have with me today. He's an incredibly nice guy. He is pioneered the London Magic Convention. He's one of the movers and shakers in Magic. He's really trying to push things forward. And like I say, he's super awesome. I'm, of course, talking about Preston Nyman. How you doing, Preston?
I'm good. That was a very touching introduction. Thank you so much.
True. It's true you are. And I'm so glad that you found time to come on the channel, because I've been wanting to interview you for a while, mainly because you're one of the guys that are really out there doing it. Like there's people out there that that go, oh, I want to make a difference, but then they don't do much. You're kind of putting your money where your mouth is. And there's so many things that are happening at the moment within the UK Magic community that are happening because of some of the efforts that you're doing. And it's great to see.
That's very kind. I think that definitely I felt, we're still mid-pandemic, but post-lockdowns and stuff, I felt like I'd done stuff, creative projects personally, but definitely felt a little bit frustrated maybe with Magic in general, and also, had all these ideas. Why doesn't that happen? Or why doesn't someone just do that? Why doesn't someone just do that? And I think coming out of the lockdowns, the world sort of slightly getting back to normal was a reminder of like, well, someone's got to start, rather than going, why doesn't this exist? It doesn't exist because no one's done it, and why not me? So it's touching to hear that that's kind of communicated a sense of like, right, let's do stuff.
Yeah. Absolutely, and it really has. And we'll talk about it later on, but obviously you've just found yourself on the council of the Magic Circle. Yes. Which is another example of you wanting to try and make a difference, because obviously it's not like you get paid to be on the council of the Magic Circle. So it just shows that you're out there really wanting to make a difference, and it's great.
I thought you did get paid when I ran. I was very disappointed to find out. I thought I could retire off the council salary, so I was very, very frustrated to realise. My only drive so far has been I propose that councillors should get paid. It's my only.
Well, I'm sure there's a lot of people that would really like that, but I can't see it'll ever happen though. But I want to do a deep dive into you, and I want to talk to you about everything. There's going to be some people that don't know who Preston Nyman is. So I want to kind of do I want to start off with your origin story, if that's okay. And I want to kind of talk about how you got into Magic. Now, for those people that haven't heard of Preston, I hope you don't mind me saying, you're obviously Andy Nyman's son. And I'd like to find out if that has... I was speaking to Marvin Burglass. Oh. I interviewed Marvin Burglass a little while ago. Yeah. And he said he found it incredibly frustrating having such a famous dad at times. And it was kind of like he lost his identity a little bit because of his dad. I don't know if that's the case. But let's have a talk about, was it kind of a pre-given that you would get into Magic with your dad, or because your origin story is going to be different to a lot of people? Because
my origin story isn't like I was given a Magic set and it was sort of all consuming. I think that we spoke a little bit about this before the interview, actually, about you and Ryland's relationship, where the point I think I was making was that you can see when you watch the review shows that it is Ryland's thing as much as it's your thing, Magic. He, clearly is not interested because his dad's interested. He's interested because he's interested. And I think that my origin was loving Magic and loving having Magic as my skill. That, oh my God, have you heard he does Magic? When I was like 5 or whatever. And being able to show someone a trick. And obviously through Dad. So Dad, we'd go to Dealers Day and International, very, very happy memories. And then later Blackpool, obviously. And so I was very interested in it, A, because I enjoyed I'm a magician, when you're 5 years old, but also because I loved that Dad loved it, and I loved the friends he had who were all, there's people that have been, there's an interview with Richard Wiseman in the magazine that we'll come to in this issue. Well, Richard Wiseman around my whole life, basically, Yeah. So I loved the friends, and I loved the world of it, and I loved colourful, supreme props, which I still do. Funnily enough, I should show you this actually. But then I think weirdly joining the Young Magicians Club was like, well, this is the logical next step. I joined the Magic Circle. I found my membership card the other day and was very moved by it, in thinking it sort of ended up, by no fault of its own, putting me off magic a little bit. Not because there was anything wrong with IMC, just because it went from being, well, I was like 8 or whatever when I'd have joined probably, and it went from being, this sounds really selfish, but magic's my, like I can do magic, to you realise, oh, all of these people have it as their thing. Kind of, who am I? Where do I fit into that? Nothing to do with the Young Magic Circle. It was great, and I really loved going, and I still kind of enjoyed magic throughout it. But I think it, at a time when you feel like you want to kind of be yourself a little bit, it felt like, oh, one of the crowd now, which sounds really selfish. So I think I was still passively interested in it, and we'll go to international, and Dad would always buy me stuff when we were there. I'd see a proper, oh, can I get that? You know, he'd buy it. But I wasn't really seeking necessarily until, but still going to conventions, never fell in love with it until, I mean, this is a very long-winded answer, sorry.
No, this is fascinating. It really is.
I'm glad. Until a couple of years ago, Dad did a show with a guy who has become quite sort of known, I think, through, in the first lockdown, he really like hit the ground running with, I'm going to do an Instagram video a day, which a lot of people did, but he was there very, very with it. And I think in magic, a lot of people saw them and liked them. Simon Lick. And Dad did a show with Simon, who as a child was interested in magic and knew that Dad obviously was involved with magic. So kind of bought his, he bought his case of stuff that he had as a kid to kind of show Dad, you know, just magic, but he wasn't really actively involved with it. And we have struck up a very, very close friendship. And his journey of going, actually, I love magic. Why did I ever stop doing it? Has really matched my journey of going, I love this. Why did I stop doing it? So over the past few years, we've really got back into it. And then in turn, weirdly, in a roundabout way, Dad has also then really got back into it from seeing me and Simon really get back into it. Has really rekindled, why do I love this thing? Yeah. That's very, very condensed history, but a kind of brings us up to now, in terms of what my relationship with magic has been. But yeah, obviously Dad has been involved with magic throughout my life, and I've loved watching that constantly.
And so you got back into it properly a couple of years ago. Are you going out performing now, or is that something that, because I speak to a lot of people on this channel that aren't performers. They love magic, they love creating, they love every aspect of it, but they're not necessarily performers themselves. Have you been performing this last couple of years, or is that something that you're not really that?
I don't, I have a very, see, that's where maybe I have a bit of an on and off relationship with thinking, God, I spent so much money in magic and I love it and I'm okay at it, you know, why don't I go and, on a horrible greedy level, why don't I go and make some of that investment back? But also on a level of, I was a demonstrator for Marvin's a few years ago, and the feeling of, oh God, I'm going to feel sick showing people magic faded away really quickly and was replaced with, I actually love showing people magic, and I love being able to put into practice how I'm getting better at it. Okay, I do dynamic coins and it's okay because it's an easy trick to do, but 2 weeks later, oh, well, I know that was, you know, I love that process. But I haven't got that with going out and performing. That I'm still in the period of, I think it would make me feel sick. But I know that I would quite enjoy it when I did it. But no, I'm not a performer. I might be eventually. But I'm a creator. I spend all day, every day creating, and hopefully at some point other people will start doing my tricks and go out and work them for me. I would hope.
Well, it's interesting that you say you're a creator. I mean, you know, these days you look at the magic shops and you look at places like Murphy's Magic, and there's 5,500 new tricks that hit the market every single day.
Yeah.
Is it something that your creations? Is it something you say you want people to go and do it? Have you thought about marketing those or publishing them? Or
yeah, so I've got a few bits with Penguin that are, I think, potentially filming instructions and stuff in December, maybe. Hopefully it'll be out in not too long. I got a prototype one the other day, which is very, very exciting. So those are my first. I put myself a couple of years ago. It's a very sweet trick called folder roll, but it's like it's a little stupid thing. Prop Dog sell them, actually, they still have some, but it's like a very silly thing. But these are my first proper things that are coming out, and Penguin have them, and then I've got something that is with someone, but they may be about to give it up, so I won't say who. But it that will also come out. Trick called Best in Show that I did very early on TMC TV. I got a message from Bob Pound saying, do you have anything that we can show? So it's a card trick called Best in Show that's very sweet, that might be coming out hopefully. So there's a few bits that are coming out, and then every day creating more and creating more. There's one thing in particular that will come out in 2 or 3 years time. It's going to be spectacular.
Oh my gosh.
But it's not ready yet. But yeah, so there are things coming in. Also bits that I'm like, yeah, maybe I'll put that out myself at some point. But at the moment, again, I suppose we'll get to the magazine, but at the moment the magazine is kind of taking up that part of my brain, and also is an outlet for me to go, I've got a card effect, I'm not going to do anything with it at the moment, so I obviously try it enough on people to go, this is the shape of the effect and this is what the thing is. Means I can also then put it in the thing and go and have fun with this, and it's an outlet for that side of things, where it's not necessarily a release, but it is something to go, here's a really cool thing you might enjoy. So yeah, things are starting to filter out in terms of my magic name is Spooky Nyman. It's not Preston for various reasons. So if you see Spooky Nyman, that's me. And buy, support it with your wallets.
Absolutely. That's awesome. That really is. And you mentioned the magazine. Let's talk about the magazine now, if you don't mind. Obviously, it's been out for a couple of months now. I think it's been coming out for a couple of months. Can we talk about it? What made you decide to actually start doing a magic magazine?
So, well, you were saying before, rightfully, that there aren't that many, and it feels like there used to be a million. I mean, were you ever subscribed to Magigram or Magic, or was that something that was in your world? Like,
I have every single abracadabra. I'm a big abracadabra fan. I've got every single one in bound volumes, leather bound volumes, from the very first one to the very last one. So that's my favorite thing. So yeah, I have all of the genies as well, and I had all of the magics when they were around. So I'm a big magazine collector. I think that magic magazines are great, and you are right, there's nowhere near as many around these days as there used to be.
And do you ever, out of curiosity, because I'm also thinking about, what's the future of the magazine, having done zero market research, do you ever go back over them? Do you
all the time.
Really?
Yeah, all the time.
That's really good to know. That's really good to know, because I would hope that people hang on to things. I hang on to everything, but the worry is, read it once, goes in the bin, and that you never think about it again. So that's good to know that you have them and you keep them, and especially the bound ones, and you'll go back over them. For fun or for research. Sorry, this is quite market research.
No, sometimes for fun, sometimes for research. If I'm trying to think of a trick and I'm looking for inspiration, I find if I go back to an abracadabra from the 1950s, there's a million really great plots in there that people haven't seen before. And I'm like, okay, well, maybe I can take that, I can adapt it, and I can make it, I can kind of change the method. I when I'm looking for inspiration, a lot of the time I'll go back through old magazines.
That's really lovely to know. But that is a hole that I think isn't filled at the moment. There are obviously magazines, and great magazines. The Circular, if you're a Circle member, is wide ranging in terms of, it's about history, and it's about there's effects, and there's reviews, and so sort of something for everyone. But you have to be a member of the Circle, and it's also quite a I think this is good for the magazine, but quite a dry tone. It's quite a it's not necessarily sort of a funny read, but I don't think it should be. But it sort of caters to one thing. And then there's the Neat Review, Alex's magazine, that's brilliant, but very cool and feels like an art thing more than a magic thing. That really serves again another audience. And then there's Magic Scene, which again is great, but kind of it felt like we're only really sort of 3 audiences catered for, and I love magic and I love laughing. That sounds like such a stupid babyish thing to be like, I love to laugh. Who doesn't love to laugh? But I like funny things, and I think that is an audience that isn't necessarily catered for. So that was one factor. Another factor was, I've got a lot of friends, like mailing lists and stuff, which I love, but I like having a tangible thing, and having this is the new issue of the magazine, but having something when the Merlin's catalogue comes through the post, it's the best day. It's so exciting, you know. I'll sit down and take time and read do you get it? The Merlin's catalogue.
Yeah, I do, yeah.
I love it, and I love it because there's no collect Supreme catalogues, and there's no, I mean, there's obviously a different thing that was Supreme's effects, and this is sort of retailer, I suppose, but a tangible thing to sit and read that's magic related is so exciting, especially hearing it, you know, come through the letterbox. Another thing, and then also during the most recent lockdown, so sort of going back actually to your first question a little bit, what Dad has had for years is the most, as I'm sure you have, I'm sure Ryland will benefit from now and in the future, the most incredible library books and also library effects of magic. And I'd taken things off the shelf that I was in the past, and I want to learn more about Pat Page. Okay, well, you know, the Page Boy Speaks, whatever is on is it the Page Boy Speaks or Magic Page by Page? Maybe it's on the shelf. Yeah. Right, I'll read that. You know, or Carol Fox. Great, I'll read something by Carol Fox. You know, but I dived into, I'm going to pick something off the shelf that I'm not necessarily interested in because the spine is boring for me. So T.A. Waters, My Myth and Magic. I've always looked. I don't know what that book is. I'm going to be bored. I don't care. I want a thing that's a gimmicky, whatever. And then in lockdown, I was like, oh, I've got to kill the time somehow. I'm going to read every book on the shelf. So picked it off. Oh my God, you learned something. Anyway, this is a very long-winded way of saying.
No. It's again, it's fascinating.
Oh, I'm glad. I'm a waffler. So it is interesting. He has Syzygy. One of the, I think now they print them as a book maybe, but he has one of the folders with a volume of the magazine. It's a ring binder. I never read it again because I look at the spine. I don't know what that is, and in the past, I don't have time. I only want to read things I'm interested in. Why is this? Well, I don't know what Syzygy is. I'd never heard of it, shamefully. So I'll read that. Oh, I mean, just issue after issue. The most phenomenal. I would really urge anyone that will be watching that doesn't know what it is or hasn't read it or looks at the cover and thinks it's maybe going to be boring. It's amazing. So I really just devoured that, and then was at Prop Dog and was looking for a book. I love buying books more than I love buying tricks, and I think maybe Mike Sullivan was like, you should look at Apocalypse if you never read it. Again, a spine I've looked at and been like, I don't know what that is. I don't care. It's too big. It's going to be daunting. My God, the most phenomenal, the most phenomenal cover to cover, read and then got another volume cover to cover. And it made me sad that there was nothing like that now. There are magazines, but there's not a newsletter, pamphlet, tangible thing that is banging tricks, or at least tricks that you go, there's a lot in Apocalypse that is sort of, dare I say, unfinished maybe, or the basis of an idea, but he never really gives presentation, which I like. You know, it's very like bare bones, but there's a lot that you read and you go, well, that isn't for me, but I'd never seen that before, or God, that idea is so good. And I want to bring that into magic. I think it's something that's definitely missing, and also something that's really necessary, is something that feels creative and fun and like it has a real voice and is affordable and has tricks, and something that Syzygy and Apocalypse doesn't have, but interviews, and I've started calling them recommendations rather than reviews, because it's only going to be good things, you know. So that really felt like, God, why doesn't that exist? I wish I could get Apocalypse every time it came out. I wish. Well, I'll do it. See, he had to start Apocalypse at some point, and I'll do it. I'll put a thing out, you know, and then very quickly it was like, oh wow, now I've got X amount of these printed, and people have signed up, you know. So that was kind of the whys of the magazine, I suppose, if answers your, again, a very winded, waffly answer, but that's kind of, again, takes us up to the magazine being a real thing. Was just thinking, well, I wish someone would do this. Hopefully, I'm finishing my point. I feel like I'm starting loads of points and not finishing.
No, not at all. And it's a really good point. You know, things like Richard Zelmaniak, Apocalypse, the Magic Menu, Magigram, all of these different.
So many.
Right. Yeah, there's so many, and you are right. There's nothing like that at all. So what is in the content of your average issue? What would people find in there? I suppose the question I'm asking is, people that are watching this, that have listened this far and are thinking that's a good idea, what would make them kind of pull the trigger and buy an issue or subscribe?
I think that, okay, if I waffle, shout at me to get back on track. Unmute yourself and shout Preston back to the question. I think that, firstly, being an early adopter of something's really exciting. That sounds desperate of me to say, please God, sign up. But you know, I'm enormously grateful to, I thought I would give it to X amount of friends and then 3 people would sign up and then, oh my God, I'm tied into this thing. And you know, but the response has been great. And it's really exciting seeing names of people I've never met in my life. I have no idea who they are. Subscribe. Oh my God, that person has found it somehow. You know, how exciting. But also the names of people I really admire signing up. Oh my God, they, you know, how exciting that they're going to have a magazine. And what's really touching is that they're early adopters and they've looked at a thing and not necessarily had confidence in me because they might not know that it's my thing and might not have seen the Prop Dog Live, where I think you said you saw it. But just gone, oh, I want to be part of this thing from the beginning. So before kind of tonally or content-wise, why you should sign up, I think that being there at the beginning of something is really, really exciting. And hopefully it will run and run and run for 30 years. And eventually you'll have Mazel Magazine in folders on your shelf and say, I had the first issue when it came out, you know. Yeah. And there will be a cut-off, and there's only a certain amount of each issue printed. Hopefully with more subscribers, the number will increase, obviously, to incorporate people. But at the moment, when issue 1 runs out, which a couple of conventions coming up and more people find it, it will run out. You won't be able to get it. I might start looking at doing a digital copy, but I don't really want to do that. It's a print thing. So to ensure that you've got everything at the beginning, sign up. That's the first point. The second point is a content thing, which is a direct answer to your question, which is there's always a little letter at the beginning talking about things that are going on in Magic or things that have happened or whatever. And it's quite a funny read. I've had a lot of really nice feedback saying they really enjoy reading that. And then it varies from issue to issue. I've been there's always going to be the same key things, but I've been quite careful not to do. It's amazing what you have done with Magic TV of going, this is what I'm going to do every week, and then every week doing it. Because I think everyone at some point has had a YouTube channel in some capacity where they've gone, and then on Monday I'll do this, I'll do this, and then by like, okay, I'm changing it, so I'm going to do one video every Friday, and then you never end up doing it, you know. So I'm trying not to lock in what it is, because it's new and it will change, and I want it to change, and I've really welcomed feedback, and the feedback has been really positive. People saying, I don't really know if that works for me, or, you know, so it will change, but also because I want to throw something in. It might be that the next issue has one trick and one feature that's something you know that's going to be crazy and you know. So it's a completely movable thing and a shapeable thing depending on what's happening. But at the moment, it's a couple of tricks. So the most recent issue I think has 4 tricks in it, and all of them are very good tricks. It has always some, in the first issue it was reviews, but as I said, it's recommendations now, because it's never going to, I'll offer feedback on things, but you know, either they're things I enjoy that I want to recommend, or I've had a couple of people go, can I send you something, do you want to have a play with it? And I'll have a play with it, and even if it's not for me, which everything so far has been for me, I want to recommend, you know, I want to bring some positivity in, you know. This isn't for me, but I think that if this was your sort of thing, then you'd really like it. So there's always that. There's always going to be an interview. So it was Richard Young in the first issue and Richard in the second issue. And I'm desperate for another Richard to interview in the third issue. It's always going to be maybe Richard Cadell. And often although this is divided on an article. So the first issue came out when Wonderville was about to start in the West End. So there was an article that was about speaking to Chris Cox about how mounting a magic show in the middle of a pandemic is completely, to use a very open word of the year, unprecedented. There wasn't an article in the second one, there was an extra trick instead for various reasons, but in the next one, that will be after a topic we'll come to, London Magic Convention. So there'll be a write-up of the convention. So there'll be an article that is not going to be one, because you might go, I don't care about articles, I just want tricks, but there'll be a lot of tricks in there too. So it does change, but there's always going to be tricks, always going to be reviews, always going to be an interview, you know, so hopefully there's something for everyone, but it really has there's a very, at least I think, funny voice running throughout it. And not a mean voice too. If you're a bit, this is another reason you should sign up. I'm a little bit bored of everything funny in magic being mean.
Mm-hmm.
It's a, you know, we spoke about this. We said before the interview about the rants. Much as I love watching the rants, and I don't think the rants were me. You know, I think a lot of the time justified, or you could tell you're putting on a show. You know, I really admire you, which is what I was saying to you before. Going, I have to think about what I'm putting out, and I largely, yeah, you're leaving it in a better place, magic, but are the rants doing that, or am I contributing to something that's bigger than me, you know?
Yeah.
So, and I think that the rants are a different thing, I think, but I think that a lot of comedy and magic is mean and always at someone's expense. And I've really, really tried to make the magazine a nice place, and a place that people feel welcome to submit tricks, email me, you know, I'll write to every email just because I want to chat to people about magic. And there are some people that are the butt of the jokes. They are all friends. So for example, Harry de Cruz, very dear friend, is there is in every issue a joke at Harry's expense, purely because he knows he's in on it. He does, you know, it's not a mean joke still, but there is a joke at Harry's expense that will run through every issue. You know, Richard Young, I jab at. So friends, I'll take friendly jabs or whatever, but it's never going to be, look at this dickhead. No, because that is boring enough already. It's, you know, you have to think about what do I want man to be? I can't be shitty and then go, God, toxic. What have I done? You know.
Yeah.
So if you is also kind coming through the box, then you should sign up. So great tricks, early adopter, and it's a really nice, sweet, funny magazine. Sign up.
And how often does it come out?
So at the moment, it's once every 2 months, because I knew that if it was once a month, it would be of a very, very low quality. Not because I'm especially busy, but because I'm a procrastinator, and I'll get distracted and I'll start tinkering and making another prop. Sorry, my girlfriend just is going to the shop and just held up a sign behind the camera saying, "Can I please take your scooter to the shop?" I've got a very nice scooter, not an electric one, but a push scooter. She wants to take it to M&S. Yes, you can. Maybe I'll print that sign. She's actually, all joking aside, phenomenal. I started during lockdown compiling a lot of my ideas in lecture notes. Eventually, I'll lecture a lot of them. When I started, it was as good a time as any to kind of start stockpiling. And she's done the illustrations for me, and she's a phenomenal illustrator. So if anyone is looking for magic artwork, either illustrations or just Lil Bop Shop, look up LILBOP shop. Anyway, but she can do illustrations.
What is it? I'll put it at the bottom of the screen. What is it again?
Let me see. I'll double check and I'll send you the exact link, but I'm pretty sure it's lilbopshop.co.uk.com. I'll send you the link and put it on the thing. But
yeah, we'll put it at the bottom of the screen.
Very, very talented artist, but especially she's done some very, very funny, detailed illustrations for me. So if you need illustrations, you know where to go. Anyway, the question was about how often does it come out?
Yes.
If it was once a month, it would not be good, and I would feel like I was giving people a bad product. So at the moment, it's once every 2 months. If eventually I can pay my mortgage on the magazine, it will be once a day. No, it'll be once a month probably. But again, that's another reason to sign up is if you want to support something new and get something really good in return for not a, I think it's very fairly / cheaply priced. It will only grow the more people sign up and the more people recommend it too. Not because I'm holding you to ransom. I'm only gonna do it if this amount of people sign up, purely because it, as you well know, creating anything is such hard work. And to make something good, and you really have to give it time. At the moment, I can only give it that time once every 2 months. So if X amount of people sign up, then you go, okay, well, you know what? I'm going to reward that faith in it, and it's once a month, and it's going to be great. But that only comes with natural growth. I can't do that to begin with, because it just won't be good, and it won't be fair to people that are signing up too. So at the moment, once every 2 months. So the next one will be in December. It'll be the Christmas issue, and there is something in the December issue that is. When's this video going to come out? Do you know?
Hopefully within the next 2 weeks.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
All right. I'm not sure what it purely because I think that I'm going to talk about it at the convention. Sorry to slightly dangle the carrot there, but if it was going to come out after that, then I'll probably talk about what it is. But there's something in the next.
Well, I can hold off. I can hold off on putting it out until after the convention. I have no problem doing that.
You know what? No, you know what? I'll give you the scoop on this, and then I'll talk about it. Put it out whenever. I don't mind. It's not a finished idea. It's a finished idea, and I need to iron out some of the creases. But there's something in the December issue that I think is going to be really, really exciting, which is I'll support before I go into it. Build suspense.
I'm excited now.
It's a thing that, as far as I'm aware, unless I do some last minute research and then email you frantically saying, please cut this out because I look like an idiot, has not been done before. So strange because it's such a fun idea. Which is, it's telling me my connection's unstable. Is it all right for you? Can you see it and hear me?
It's okay for me. Yeah, it's not too bad. Okay, yeah.
Which is a year-long project that everyone is welcome to take part in. If you're a Mazel subscriber, you're guaranteed to be able to take part. And if you're not a subscriber, there's a chance you'll be able to take part, but it is a little bit more difficult, maybe. Which is one deck of cards that is going to be passed around, in theory, every magician in the world. So you sign up for, there'll be a form in the next Mazel that you can send back to me with your name and address. There's a contract that you will have to sign because it really relies on trust. But in a year's, the deck is going to get sent to people, or whoever's got it can give it to a friend. And, you know, you deck, you do a trick with it, you write down, here's my name, here's the date, here's the trick I did with it, you take a photo, you send it to the next person. In a year's time, the deck will have been used by John, who does tricks down the pub, and David Copperfield. I don't mean to do that like yeah, shit.
Yeah.
This, hopefully, if people have faith in it, is going to be a deck that is passed around the world and incorporates everyone that at least wants to be part of it. At the end of the year, it's going to be auctioned off for Mind at the next convention. Wow. So someone will be able to, anyone who takes part will get some sort of souvenir of, here's a little booklet of the photos that every single performer took with them doing a trick with the deck. But that's going to be a deck of cards that has been performed with by hundreds and hundreds of magicians. So that is going to be, I'm going to go into more detail about it, and there are obligations that you have. It's a lot of trust that's given to you with the deck, and you have to be responsible with it. So there are some things that have to be laid out before you say, yes, I want to be part of this. But that's going to be in this December issue. And if you are a magazine subscriber and you send me your, you opt in, you're guaranteed to go with this deck. If you're not a magazine subscriber and you know a magazine subscriber who has the deck, you can also, I'm not going to ban people from doing tricks. You're more than welcome to do a trick with it, but it just won't, you might not get to go with it is the thing.
Yeah.
But that's laid out in the December issue. So if you're interested in that, then I would also sign up for the December one.
What a great idea. What a great idea.
It's a good idea, and I don't think it's ever been done, which is inexplicable. I think it's low hanging fruit. But it's a sweet one.
And for people that have listened to about Mazel Magazine, can you put I'm going to put a thing at the bottom. Where can people go to subscribe?
You can go to mazelmagazine.co.uk, M-A-Z-E-L, magazine spelt in the usual way, M-A-G-A-Z-I-N-E. I was looking at the magazine just in case I spelled magazine wrong. .co.uk. They have it. I'm going to be at, this will be post Dealers Day, I would imagine. I'm going to be at Dealers Day with them. And then if you have a ticket, for the convention, London Magic Convention, I'll be there with them. But at the moment, the only place you can get it is mazelmagazine.co.uk, not .com. And it is, I post internationally. And if you want to buy the issue on its own, it's this May shares the magazine already. There's a 4-page increase between issue 1 and issue 2. So as the magazine grows, the price may change. But at the moment, it's £5 plus postage for an issue, or for the year, which is £30, so free postage.
That's ridiculously cheap.
That's another reason to sign up, because that will change. That's
ridiculously cheap.
It is, but I think that it means that more from a practical business point of view, I want more eyes on it, because I want more people to be incentivized to subscribe. And I was going to use a horrible analogy there, but I want people to see it and know it's good, and then in the future, if it is more expensive, to go, well, I have faith that it's good, Or I also just want it to be, I want teenagers to subscribe, not exclusively. I want everyone to subscribe. It's not a magazine for teenagers. I know that I wouldn't want to spend more than that on a magazine if I was 15, and I want it to. It's a very lofty ambition, but in the way that I was mentioning about being kind, I want it to set the tone for. I don't want it to be inaccessible, because I think it's important to send a message of being kind and being creative. It's a really creative magazine, hopefully. And I want everyone to access that. So I think the price is very, very accessible. It won't change that much, but it might be that the issues become £6, or it's never going to be like, and the next issue is £25. It's not surge pricing depending on who's being interviewed. Yeah, you want to read the interview with Darren? Yeah, it's going to cost you. It's not. But at the moment, it's £30 to subscribe for the year. So,
and I suppose the big question is your dad a subscriber?
He has point blank refused to subscribe. He will not support me in any endeavour. No,
I've never liked that Andy Nyman. I've always. It's a good job that I've given up the rants. There'll be a rant coming on him. I can't believe.
Next one, yeah. He's a toxic presence of magic. No, he is genuinely not a subscriber, but because I live 5 minutes away from him and see him every day and just give him the issues. But he's a big fan for sure. He's been very, very supportive. And at some point there, I didn't want to my instinct is to go, can I put a trick in the first issue of his, But that, again, looping back to what you were saying, and you on Ireland will go through this, no doubt. I don't have that thing that Marvin has had of feeling. I don't know what the word. I don't know what the right. But feeling frustrated maybe about the about having the surname. There are times in Magic and nothing else where it is a little bit like. What used to, I'll make the point about the magazine and then loop back to this, because I think it is interesting. But the worry is I want to put one of his tricks in the first issue, and then either you get people going, oh, so Andy Nyman's kind of behind it. Okay, I'll sign up, and then being disappointed, or you get people going, oh, right, Daddy, it's great, yeah, well, if we all had a dad in magic, then you're just opening yourself up to that. So it's really important to me to prove it as its own thing, and not just like, oh yeah, well his dad just does it. That's the only thing, the only niggle I have with those things is feeling a little bit like the reaction sometimes can be a bit frustrating. What I was going to say was, what I would get in the past a lot is like, be in Blackpool at 10 years old or whatever, and you'd get cornered at the Ruskin and shown 30 million tricks by someone, in the hope that I'll go, oh my God, Dad, you've got to see them. And at the time I was aware of this, and it's really manipulative, and it's bad practice. And I would urge anyone, if they see Ryland at a convention or out and about, not to behave like that, because it's a bit intimidating and it's a bit upsetting as a child to be like, I know the only reason that you're talking to me is because you want to talk to Dad. And I would just urge people not to behave like that. That's a very irrelevant point, but whilst it's on my mind, it's an important
really good point. Yeah.
I get it. I also, it's not like I think those people are bad people. I have no bad blood with people, but that's where the surname thing is frustrating, when you're aware you're just, maybe you don't want to talk to me. That's where it's frustrating. Anyway. Well,
all I can tell you, Preston, is I've interviewed over 120 big names in magic, and the first Nyman I reached out to for an interview was Preston Nyman, not Andy. That's all I'm saying.
Prepare yourself. Dad's going to start up the rants. He's going to take up the mantle of the rant king of YouTube. Craig Petty, you and me are going to have a little chat. That's what he's going to come with you. When I see you. But no, yeah, it'll be seething.
No, I've always been a big fan of his, as you know. But I'll interview him some point. I wanted to get you on the channel first because, you're the more talented Nyman. Anyway, let's move on. But in all seriousness, you and your dad, let's go on to the convention. You guys are doing that together, right? This is a thing, yeah. So
that is for all of my talk about, oh great, only doing it to Daddy. The next thing we're going to talk about is something that we are actually doing together.
Well, probably, I know it's a big job what you're trying to undertake with this, and I imagine you wouldn't want to do it on your own. It's not about having your dad's name there. It's just about the fact that I can imagine. I used to be an event planner back in the day, and I can only imagine the amount of work and effort that's gone into this to get it to where it is already. You need somebody there with you that can do it with you, and so I mean,
and there's a confidence. There's a confidence also. Again, I keep referencing things we spoke about before the interview, but what we were saying about Netrix, of I have confidence in subscribing to it because I know that you're behind it. It's not because I'm sycophantic and going, I want to be part of the thing Craig Petty's part of, but it's because I know that it will be or at least I have confidence that it will be of a quality. And I'm sure that will be rewarded by it being of a quality. So I think that A, it helps having a second person. B, it helps having someone that's more experienced than I am. And it was his thing to begin with that I ended up, it went that way round. But also, I think that is where, after being like, don't just talk to me because of the surname, that is where that comes in handy. Not because, although I'm sure this is a thing for people go, oh well, I want to be near that or whatever, but because there's a confidence. I think that Dad has over 20, 30 probably of good products, good material, relationships, and I think that there's a confidence that people have in that when they see that he's involved, that again isn't a sycophantic thing necessarily, it is a sense of, okay, well I have confidence, bye-bye, enjoy your scoot, that it will be of a quality. I'm putting my faith in something, it will be, it's not going to be bad, hopefully, famous last words, if he's putting his name to it. So that's where that stuff comes in handy.
And for those people that don't know what we're talking about, we're talking obviously about the London Magic Convention, which sold out in like 0.3 seconds,
sold out very
which is incredible. It shows the confidence that people have in it. I'd like to talk about what made you and Andy decide to do this, but also a little bit about what the event's going to be about, and are you planning to do other ones? I mean, from my point of view, Ron's Day was one of my favorite things. I used to love going to the international convention and the competitions and everything, and it were just incredible. It was my favorite convention. And you've got the session at the beginning of the year, but that's a different vibe. The sessions are complete.
Yeah. But it's like what I was saying about the magazines, which is I love the session. I'm there every year, and there's no but to that. There's no but. We thought, the session is brilliant, and for what it is, unbeatable. Why would you can't play it at its own game because it's great. But having said there's no but, there is a but. That to me is what the Neat Review is in magazines, which is that's that audience, or that is that vibe around it, and they do the most phenomenal job, and I love it and I look forward to it. Blackpool is this, and it caters to that audience, and it's brilliant. Dealers Day is not a convention as such, but Dealers Day, so you've got all these things that cater, and Ron's Day hole has not been filled.
No.
And some of our we're best friends, truly. And some of our, as father and son, but also just as best friends, memories are going to Ron's Day. It was phenomenal.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of people that really, that clear, really have missed it, but also a lot of people that, Ron's Day hasn't been on for, I don't even know how long, 6 years, 7 years, something like that. There's a lot of new people in magic. Not even people that have grown up into magic. There's a lot of new adults in magic that never would have gone to Ron's because they've just been starting out, or because so it was a really exciting thing to look forward to. A, because it was like, oh my god, it's November, it's nearly Christmas, and it's a bit wintry, and but also because it was like so special for us, so special, but for a lot of people, so special. Clearly, Ryland never got to go. I'm Ryland a lot, but I think it's never got to go to Ron's Day.
No,
that's really sad, and it's sad that nothing has replaced it. So it started that my thing with the magazine was like, why doesn't that exist? We've spoken a lot over the years about, God, we miss Ron's Day, we miss Ron's Day, we miss getting on the tube to, I guess it would have been Blackfriars eventually, or wherever it would have been, but used to, well, not at first, but in my lifetime at first, when it was at the shore and going to Pizza Express, and God, we miss that. Which then turned into, during the pandemic, why doesn't that exist? Why doesn't someone why don't the circle just put why doesn't that exist? Which then just post lockdowns turned into Dad going, I'm gonna do it. Dad is incredibly impatient, and I'll wake up to 9 texts pretty much every day. I'm gonna buy this. What do you think about this? What do you think about this? What do you think about this? I love it, but he's so impatient. And one of those texts, you wake up, I'm very bad at replying, wake up, scroll, hey, I'll reply to this later, but one of those texts was, I think I'm going to put on a convention. Do you want to do it? That's like, yeah. At some point, you have to sort of slightly jump off the cliff a little bit and go, we could have sat around talking about it for another decade, and probably, had COVID not happened, would have. But there's definitely a renewed sense of, you only live once. Someone's got to do it.
You know what? I really do think that that's an important message that people need to hear, in that, if you want to make things happen, you've got to go and make things happen.
You've got to do them. Yeah, and it's really easy to be intimidated by hustle, this toxic thing that has spread from Mark Wahlberg, fucking Instagram bodybuilder, whatever. I'm up every day. I do this, I do this, I do this. If you're not doing that, and it's so scary to go, well, I'm not that person. Those are the people that do, and I just sort of reap the benefits of that. It's really hard to, emotionally really hard, but also it's really intimidating, because a lot of the time the only people you see that are like, you're not like that, but when I watch your, I can't not think, where'd you find the time? You run 2 businesses successfully, 3 businesses successfully. It seems like maybe about to be 4 businesses successfully. You do X videos a week for free. You do this, you do this, you do this. It's really intimidating. You're not intimidating. You are in a way, but not, but you're not an intimidating, nasty person, but it is intimidating. Oh, I'm not that person. I don't have the gene that you have, which is just going out and hitting it. But you don't have to. You can be more passive and go, I'm going to do it. You just have to have the confidence to go, I'm going to do it, and I'm going to do it properly. So that, yeah, I think is an important message in, if not you, who? That's part of running the council. If not me, who? I can sit back and go, someone should do this, someone should do that. Yeah, someone will do it, someone will sort it out. At what point do you go, I don't have to be an insane, crazy driven person to go, I'm the person for the job, I'll do it. So that was really the convention, is eventually you go, we got out of the habit of thinking, doesn't Russ and co, don't they do a brilliant job doing Blackpool? God, how on earth do you do that? And eventually just went, well, they're human. You know, at its most basic level, you know, everybody poos, it's true, you know, where it's like, you know, they're not more or less advanced. It's not like they're filtering everything through a convention software that spits it out the other side. So you've got to start somewhere, you know. And also it's very easy, I think, to fall into the trap of going with the magazine, you know, this is also about creation. I think really it's very easy to fall into the trap of going, okay, on a trick creation level, I've got this idea, it's not quite right, or I think that wouldn't work, but in the future it will be great. Yeah, it will be great. It will be that eventually, but I'm not going to start now because I that's the end goal. You can't edit something that doesn't exist. So you have to make the thing that's shit to get to the thing that's great. And maybe you find also that the thing, I have to start the magazine to go, God, in 30 years' time, wouldn't it be amazing if people had Mazel Magazine banned on their shelves? Wouldn't that be such an honor to take up space in someone's home? What an honor that would be. And every year I leave it, 30 years' time pushes further and further and further, and before you know it, well, I'm not going to be here in 30 years' time. You know, you got to start. And then let it get great, or go, this isn't for me, but I tried. So I don't even remember what the question was. Sorry, I'm such a waffler.
We were just talking about the London Magic Convention and why you decided to do it.
That was it. That was it. You go, it'd be great to do a 3-day event, fly people in. It's huge. It's the biggest convention in the world. Whatever. You don't get that without going, let's do a day. Let's see if if people are interested. And we'll keep talking forever about, wouldn't it be great to do, God, the London Magic Convention, what a name, wouldn't that be exciting? But it won't exist without just doing it. And that really has come from, it's got to just keep creating and generating.
And it's nice to see a convention that's got a competition, because you don't see that anymore. Session doesn't have a competition. The Blackpool have really dropped the close-up competitions in recent years. Yeah, I haven't seen. Yeah, I don't think they have a close-up competition. They did back in the day, but I don't think they have anymore. If they have, I didn't notice it last time I was there. I don't think there's many conventions that are doing competitions, and just the fact that you've got that competition there as part of the day. I love watching competitions. I think that's just a great idea.
Well, that's another international thing. Dad used to be one of the judges at International, and we used to watch competitions. It's so fun watching. Well, it's twofold. A, it's really fun watching a competition. B, it sounds bad, like, what's a nice thing we could do for Magic? Because you're paying to enter. It's a transaction. It's not like this free charity thing, you know. So it's hard to not rely too much on, like, God, aren't we doing a nice thing for Magic? Because really, you know, it has to be good. Yeah, you know, it's a transaction. But there is an element of, what's the best thing someone could have on their website? The London Close-Up Champion. I mean, can you get better than that? You know, and if we saw on someone's website the New York Close-Up Champion, oh my God, this guy, you know. So A, it's really fun to watch. B, it's really exciting for people to enter and have something to work towards. C, if you win, I'd love to naively be like, God, what an honor, and that's where it stops. But really, I'd be lying if I said there wasn't a huge consideration of, you can put on your website and on your business cards, the London close-up champion. What
Yeah.
a thrill that's going to be, you know. So yeah, we're really excited about the competition. And do you know? Do you know about the show? Have you read about this?
No, there's a show. I know there's a show in the evening. It's a gala show, right? But I don't know
Yes,
much about it.
the gala show is what I'm talking about. Do you know what the gimmick is with the gala show?
No, no.
So part of distancing from, you know, the session do their show, the thing, and it's great. They get really good people. We're not at the scale of the session, and we're also not we're not flying people in this year because of COVID, and also because it's so you can't compete with that. You can't compete with Blackpool, which is 3 gala shows on the Winter Gardens, you know. So we started thinking about what can we do that feels like that's the London Magic Convention thing. Do you get someone to do their fringe show? That might be really fun, but it's sort of what the session do. So, and they do it brilliantly. What's the point? So our show is also sort of it's not a competition as such, but it's a contest, maybe is a better word, which is everybody. As it's coming out my mouth, I realize this is maybe the worst idea we've ever had. But anybody, asterisk, the ticket holder, can be in the gala show. You give your name. You have form. It's called what's it called? The form show. Anyone can do it. You want to put your money where your mouth is up and be in the gala show? More than welcome. There's one rule, which is your act has to come in between 3 minutes 45 and 4 minutes. If your act comes in between that window, you win 4 shiny pound coins and a certificate. You've entered the gala show and you won 4 pounds. You did 4 minutes within that 15-second window. If, however, your act comes in a second under or a second over, the act's over and you walk away with nothing. So it's going to be a really fun mix. We've had some great, anyone can apply as a ticket holder. We've had some really great people apply. And on the day, more people, I'm sure, will sign up. But if you go, you know what? You're not allowed to check your watch or your phone, but you can have a piece of music that's 3 minutes 50. If you go, you know what? I'm going to take the challenge. You're more than welcome to enter. Anyone, we've got other surprises planned during the gala show, really fun things that are going to happen. But that's the gala show. You can be a part of the gala. Anyone can be a part of the gala show. But there's that little game element to it, which is going to be really fun, I think. For the audience, the performer can't see what time they're on, but the audience can see, so oh my God, they've got to wrap this up in 10 seconds, otherwise they're out.
That's a really good idea. It's slightly insane, but it's a really good idea. I'd love to know what you and your dad were smoking when you came up with that one.
It was more about what can we do that's fun and different, and there is a risk that this will be the worst show you've ever seen, either because it will be baffling, and we've been very, very relieved and excited. I can't say who, but some very, very exciting people have entered, and some people we don't know. Not exciting, it's really exciting people we don't know have entered. And you go, oh my God, what are they going to be like? Who knows? There's no booing off if you go over there. There's none of that. It's nice, kind. But some people that we do know that are really exciting have entered. So it's going to be a great gala show, game element. But Craig, if you feel like entering, be my guest.
I'll put Ryland forward. He can do it.
Yeah, Ryland can do it. But yeah, so those are the sort of contests that we have on the day, which will be really fun, I think. So there's the close-up competition, and there's that.
That's great. And then obviously you've got dealers and lecturers. And I know from speaking to Mark Kirstein a little while ago, he's so excited. I mean, he was telling me how much effort he's putting into the thing that he's doing for you.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Like, I'm speaking to Mark about something at the moment. And he said to me, I'm sorry, there's nothing I can do until the 14th is over. I've got to put all of my focus into that. Like, he's taking it very seriously.
I didn't know that. No, he's brilliant. So we've got him and Chris Power and Guy Hollingworth lecturing.
Oh, not very big names then.
No, it's a little thing. Yeah, it's a trial. No, the most exciting names and the most phenomenal dealers too. Really, we have had to. We're in a very cool venue. That's a venue we've used a lot over the years, but in the future we will be in a bigger venue because the response we've had from dealers wanting to be part of it, oh my God. But also the response we've had from people. The reason it's sold out isn't because, aren't we clever, we sold a thing out. It's because of the way the world is. We have to make sure there's a bit of air in the room. But also the venue is, we can't have that many people. And so we are already looking at, it will happen next year. It will happen on a Sunday in December next year, TBC, and it will be in a bigger venue. So there are a lot of dealers this year. All of them are on the website, but next year there'll be even more, and there'll be even more attendees too.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, it's really, really exciting. Oh, and also, can I say about my mug?
Please do, because the mug is very cool.
It's a very exciting mug. Sorry, I'm the biggest waffler when I get onto a thing. It's going to be the waffliest interview ever. You can bill it as that. Sometimes you bill your interviews as like the world's most incredible coin magician, the world's biggest waffler. Another big factor in doing it was we're both very impatient, and we both love getting stuff made, getting stuff printed. As soon as we had a logo, I got me and Dad t-shirts with the logo on, just because we're babies and we want a tangible thing. But we wanted to get merch made, so we are also selling merch. We are selling London Magic mugs, and also little enamel pins with the logo that have not arrived yet, but they're going to be lovely. So if you want to walk away with some London Magic Convention stuff, or eventually we'll sell them online. So if you want to pretend that you were there, then you can buy London Magic Convention merch. Anyway, sorry, go ahead. I'm
no, mate, this has been incredible. I want to ask you one more question. Obviously, you've got a lot going on at the moment. You can tell that, you said 2 years ago your love of magic got revitalized. You can just see you're on the council, the London Magic Convention, the magazine. I mean, you're just, wow, creating magic as well and bringing magic out. Penguin are huge, and it's just brilliant to see what you're doing. What's next? Because I know that you probably have things on the horizon that you want to achieve as well. What's left on your magical bucket list that you want to do? What's the future hold for Preston Nyman? Where are you wanting to go in the coming months and years? And
this is literally, I'm telling you this before I answer, going to be the waffliest answer yet. Purely because it's such a great question.
That's fine.
All right. Well, separate to magic,
because we haven't even touched on your acting career. I mean, obviously, I'm really sorry about that, but you do a lot of acting as well.
So yeah, so that is me and Dad are just the same person basically. But yeah, my day job, and this is also part of the reason for not going out and working in magic, is because I think I'm also scared I'd fall out of love with it, because what I love is that it's not my day job.
Yeah,
I can put all day, every day into it, much to Emily's frustration sometimes. And at the end of the day, not have to go, but I've got to pay my bills with this thing, So my normal job is acting. So I obviously have ambitions and whatever when it comes to that, which is irrelevant to this. But what is relevant is just, I want to get to the end of my life and look back and have a lifetime of work I'm proud of. That's across the board. Acting, magic. I want to know but everyone does. That's a mute point. But I contribute. I did something good. When it comes more specifically to magic, I would love. God, that's such a. It sounds phony, but I've never thought about what's next. What do I want? I would love to be one of those people. I think you're this. I think Dad is this. I think people I look up, I think David Regal's this. I think, and some of my I have three sort of magical idols: Luba Fiedler, who is relevant to the point I'm about to make, Steve Deshek, John Cornelius. One of the reasons that I love all of the people I've named is because they are the most wide-ranging. I think there's a really old-fashioned. Sorry, I'm aware I'm waffling as it's happening.
No, I'm really enjoying this. I'm really loving it.
All right, if it's your fault if people are clicking off, if you look at your analytics and they just click off every time, skip every time I answer.
They won't.
Watch me go like this with my hands in fast mode. I think that there's a thing that is lost. This is one of the reasons I love collecting Supreme stuff, and this is one of the features in the magazine now. Is a fun sort of guessing game based around Supreme items. There'll be more Supreme content, so I'm obsessed with Supreme, and there'll be more Supreme references in the magazine going forward. When you get one of those Supreme books, bestsellers is the one that I return to constantly, but even right at the top of Supreme, any of the Edwin's Magic books are like this, but really all of their books that they put out pretty much are the Carol Foxes who are the Shaxsons, those weren't Supreme, those books, but those little books. I can't remember who that thing that's lost, which is they're impossible to define. Steve Duchette cannot be. They're people that either made their livings doing magic, kids parties, trade shows, so they have this wide ranging. They're not card magicians, they're not coin magicians, they're not stage. They're just everything. And I think when you pick up those Supreme books, you just, okay, well, if the trick's not for me, the next one's going to be. Unlike when you pick up a book of all stuff, maybe, and you go, I don't know if I can get anything from this if I'm a card guy. I would love to have a legacy that is like a Steve Duchette, John Cornelius, where you go, a Regal. Regal is obviously incredibly card skilled, but then also Vortex of Refreshment, where it's like, what is that? You can't. He had a stupid idea and made it, and it's great. You can't pin them down. You just go, they were really creative. So I'm talking in the past tense about Regal. He's not dead, but Steve Duchette, it's just endless creativity. Here's a book on stupid coin gimmicks I've made. Here's all of a sudden a book of cards. Here's a book of thumb. Here's just everything. I'm just never going to stop creating. That's what I really aspire to. So in magic, that is probably above any. I'd love to work with that person. I'd love to work with that person. I'd love to do that. That is what I hope I eventually achieve, is just not being able to be defined. You're just constantly reinventing and constantly creating, constantly tweaking and keeping that part of your brain active. Other than that, I'd love the magazine to be a legacy. I'd love the convention to be a legacy thing. I'd love nothing more than it to be, long running. Please. I would love, there's people I'd love to work with. There's, at some point I see myself, the reason also that I don't perform magic is because I if I'm Googled, I want it to be acting stuff that comes up. I don't want it to be magic stuff because it, at least in my opinion, complicates things acting wise with just what you're defined as. It's a thing that I need to get over, but which is why I have the spooky Nyman instead of Preston Nyman, so it's just a different thing to Google. But at some point anonymously, I would love to go on Fool Us, because I think that idea that I said earlier is like, I'm very negative about my ideas usually, but a good idea, I think, could be a Fool Us, and I would happily retire if I had the Fool Us trophy on my mantelpiece. So I think that at some point, in some, I've got a couple of ideas, but in some completely anonymous, where you can't know that it's me, I will probably do that. Whether it fools them or not, who cares? It's the experience. But I think probably at some point, that's ego-wise an aspiration to go, God, wouldn't that be like everyone has that, the best. So that's really, they're quite wishy-washy answers, but I think that is, you just ultimately want to leave it in a more creative, better place than you found it, I think.
Absolutely.
I hope that answers your question.
No, it does. It's all about creating a legacy, and you can see that with everything you're doing, with the magazine, with the convention, with everything that you're doing. You can see that.
I'm glad, and I hope not in a way of I want to be remembered. You know, obviously everyone wants that, but I hope it doesn't seem like all those answers are, I want people to look back and go, wow, wasn't Preston great? I don't care about that. I just want to make people happy, ultimately, put stuff out that people like or that people do and make money doing, you know,
Yeah.
or put stuff out that inspires people. My name's not at the front of it. I just want to put something in and make people happy with it, ultimately. So it's as egoless as it could possibly be.
Let me ask you one last question before we wrap this up.
Yeah.
Obviously, we haven't really talked about your acting career, but I know that you've been very successful. You know, at the end of the day, it's your day job. You can't do acting as a day job without being successful.
Sure.
If you manage to make it huge, like I'm talking like you know, Hollywood film or whatever it may be, or something like that, or hey, you're going to be you're taking over from Tom Cruise on the next Mission Impossible. So I don't know, whatever.
Yeah. I'm not meant to talk about that, but yeah.
Sorry, I forgot to mention. If your acting career completely blew up, would you still try and do the magazine and the convention?
Yeah.
Or would that be a
I
case?
think that, yeah, because it makes me really happy. And, you know, for you saying it's really hard to organize a convention, it is really hard. It's really hard to, it's hard to just on an admin level, logistically kind of get everything together. And it's also hard to work alongside someone that you're, you know, whatever, this is an answer to a different question, but yeah, it is hard. For all of that, it's the most brilliant, it's so fun because you can just, it's all at the end of the day magic. I love it so much, you know, so it's all just towards this magic goal, but also just talking about magic. Well, here's another dealer, where do we put that deal? Oh, well, are they going to be selling magic tricks? How fun is that, you know? So that brings me just immense joy. So yeah, I 100% would, even if magazine is a case of, oh Christ, I'm literally going to be working all day every day for 6 months, please God, someone else has got to take it for 6 months. Here's someone I trust. It's there, you know, to take it in any direction you want, and then I'll come back and I'll either carry on with what you're doing, or obviously, you know, there are no rules. I make the rules with the magazine, so I can do what I want with it, you know, that or I'll just carry it myself, but it will not stop because I get really busy and go, I don't care about that anymore. But I would love one day to be able to merge, to be known enough as an actor where it isn't complicated to go, wait, so are you a magician? What are you? Because people need a thing. I would love one day to, I suppose Neil Patrick Harris does this, whatever your opinions on Neil Patrick Harris are. I think that he is someone that is known for, but also is a Renaissance man, and also, oh my God, but yeah, have you seen him do you know, he also does a lot, I think, in terms of promoting magic and really, you know, bringing it into the public eye and making it seem appealing. I would love that. Merge the two, that would be great. You know, they're both huge parts of my
You should look. I've got an interview coming up on the channel next week with Jonathan Levitt. You know Jonathan Levitt, he brought out the Strange Rat.
Yeah.
And he spent a long time talking about this because obviously he's a full-time actor. He moved over to California to be a full-time actor, but he also spends a long time doing magic. And he talks about the same thing as you about how the two are kind of mutually exclusive. And he talks about exactly the same thing.
I'll watch it. I've only met him a handful of times. He's very good friends with Regal, I think. I think is how I've met him, but he seems lovely.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
Loaded there. Seems is like I know some dark secret about him. He's lovely. Listen to what I'm saying. He always seems, I'd be very, very interested in hearing him talk about that. People have different opinions on it. I know people that Simon, who I spoke about earlier, I hope he doesn't mind me saying, if he watches this, is completely comfortable now. He's established enough as an actor, I think. But even if he wasn't, he feels he's an actor too, feels completely comfortable in the two. It's just a personal thing. So I'd be interested to hear what Jonathan's opinion on it is. It's difficult, and it's a shame it's difficult, but I think it is difficult. But to be able to mix the two and kind of get new, that's also again what it boils down to is, I mean, we haven't spoken about council at all, but this is a council thing too, is like getting new people into magic. You just want new, you don't want to replace old blood, but you want fresh blood, because otherwise it doesn't move, you know, it has to stay alive. So anything you can do to get new people into it, be that being really famous and publicizing it, or be that trying to generate a new thing and show people it's possible, is a win. That's great, you know.
Yeah.
Again, a very loopy answer to your question.
Yeah,
Sorry.
but you're right. You're absolutely 100% right. And I'll tell you right now, this has been an incredible interview. It really has.
Loved it.
We've touched on so many different things, and it's been great sitting down with you, finding out more about you, and you know, what you're achieving right now is absolutely amazing. It really is.
Thank you. Well, likewise. I mean, I'm a big fan, so that means a lot coming from you.
Thank you, Preston. Thank you. And seriously, I want people to go and support you. Go subscribe to the magazine, everything. I'm going to put the links in the description down below. We've also, what's the website for the London Magic Convention? I'll put that at the bottom as well.
I believe it's just londonmagicconvention.co.uk, but I'll send you everything just to make sure it's right. But I believe you, not viewers. I'll send you everything. No, I'll send you everything to make sure that it's to make sure that it's right. But londonmagicconvention.co.uk.
Wonderful. So go check. It's sold out now, unfortunately, so you can't get there. But make sure that when the tickets go on sale for the next year, you don't want to miss out. It's going to be incredible. It really is. And I'm going to be there, and Ryland's going to be there, so it's going to be an awful lot of fun. Yeah, support the magazine, support everything, and thank you for taking time out of your day to do this. I really appreciate it.
Not at all. I've loved it so much. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, guys. Thanks very much for watching the interview. Leave a comment down below. Preston will see it, so make sure you leave a comment in the comments down below. And don't forget, I'll be back again tomorrow with another 3 videos. So I'll see you then. Thanks very much for watching. My name's Craig from Magic TV.